So this is going to be my video for Diablo 4. The beta is about to end, and I think I have more than enough to do a review. I'm gonna try and make this as concise as I can, so it's not going to be as elaborated as it could be, but it's the only way I can make a video under half an hour, because this is my second attempt, and it's very difficult because there's a lot to cover. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gorst. I'm a Path of Exile content creator. I don't create that much content right now, but just to give you perspective, I play around 100 hours of Path of Exile per week during season time for multiple months. So there's I think I have kind of an expertise in these types of games, mostly create builds. So I have a fairly good understanding of what a Diablo-like game is supposed to be. So I entered the beta, I'm gonna be honest, with a very negative mind, because Blizzard has only given us shit in the past decade. So I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't super enticed about this beta. I was like, it's probably gonna be a fucking cash grab, disgusting piece of shit. And I was half right. I'm gonna try and make it very, very conceit. So people were talking about the graphics. I'm gonna get that out of the way as fast as I can. Yes, the character creation is nice, but you're only going to see your character for that, the character creation. There's not really any way in game to see your character's face, because you have a fucking helmet on the entire time. So, you know, I mean, what's the point of putting so much effort into customization if you're never gonna be able to see your character's face? Sometimes in the cutscene you can't see it, but I still think it shouldn't impact the whether or not this game is good. That being said, the actual levels are amazingly done. I do have one complaint, is that I think I don't know if it's going to be just a starter region, but it's extremely foggy. Kind of ruined the experience a bit for me. Even as you can see, like around the fire, they try to create, I think it's the lighting. It makes everything looks a bit foggy, which is kind of sad because there's a lot of detail into these graphics. I'm not gonna lie, I would have think that something like that in a Diablo-like genre would be impossible, because the more polygon you had in the game, the harder it is on your graphics card, because it has to compile all that data. And in my, I would have think it's impossible, but here it works perfectly. Might explain the lack of density of monsters, though. I'll get to that. Story so far seems pretty bland. Lilith could be a good villain. She looks nice. She's original. She's not just a monster-like figure. She has humanized traits, and I'm good with that. But what I will say is that the story so far, they have introduced characters that are forgettable. I don't know the name of any character because I do not give a shit about them. They are very bland. And I think this is a good resume of my playthrough during the beta. It has been very bland. Everything is gray. The story so far seems very, very lame. There's not a lot of demons that you see in the cut. You go find an effigy, and then you run around trying to find his friend that can help you unlock the door that can get you to the altar. And you don't give a shit about any of those names or things you gotta do. And that's another thing I really didn't like, is the transporter-like missions, which is basically just you trying to go talk to characters, and it has no introductory value. It's not so that they can introduce a character to you that you're gonna love in the future. No, just you go talk to that blacksmith, and it tells you that the fuckface didn't pay his bill, so you gotta buy is polearm, and that's pretty much it for the entire game. When you gotta talk to somebody for like a side quest or whatever, you just don't give a shit. Fortunately for us, the story isn't everything in these types of games. I think the gameplay prevails way more than the story should, but it's a bit disappointing so far. I could be very wrong, and when the full game release, we're all going to be flabbergasted. I could be wrong, but so far it kind of sucks dicks. in my opinion. That's BA's opinion from me. You could have a different experience for that. The next, though, isn't BA's. The next is pretty much a consensus from everybody who's played the game. In my personal view, I do think that the mobs density overall is very low. Could be because it's the entry map level, because right now there's only this that we've discovered out of the entire world. I would still say that the world seems extremely small if you only look at this map, because this size of map I've explored thoroughly, and it took me very few hours. So if you multiply that by, I'd say 8 maybe, it's not a big map, but I could be wrong, and like there could be more mob density, or the mob density could be garbage through the entire game because it's too heavy on the graphics. Could be. What do I mean by that is, first of all, I don't want to spend 45 seconds to a minute traveling from one point to the other, fighting 4 small mobs and maybe a pack if I'm lucky. I want to, and even in dungeons, I'll try to put one in while I'm editing. When you do dungeon, the density of mobs, it's very, very low. It could be, again, because you're low level location or low difficulty, and maybe when you put it to like the highest difficulty in the game, there's so much mobs you can't see what the fuck you're doing. I don't know. Right now, what I can say is that the mob density is very, very low. When you travel through a dungeon, you just feel like you're opening doors and you just want to get through the end, which isn't supposed to be that. I want to fight, I want to test my abilities, I want to see how strong I am now, and I want to feel a difference. So there's a lot of long stretch, and I've done a couple of quests that were boring. Like I've never thought I could be bored like that doing a quest in an hack and slash type game, because you go in and it's like you need to open those doors, and you just walk around and open doors, and you just open more doors to activate an altar, to open more doors and activate the altar to get at the end and fight maybe one elite guy, and the entire time you didn't fight a pack of mobs. I mean, listen, when you were playing Diablo 2, you would fight mobs like the entire way. Even like in the first act, you would fight mobs non-stop. You would try to get to a point, and there's going to be so many monsters that you need to kill. So that's a big problem, especially when you think that since they made it open world, there's going to be a lot of other players that are going to steal your mobs. So it's gonna feel very empty. So far, it does feel extremely empty. Moving on, the skills. The skill customization is very, very low. I don't know why they bothered doing a tree-like customization thing. It has less customization on the skills than Diablo 3 does so far. So it's like, listen, you've got one skill and 2 modifications, if you can call them that. If you don't want to take Bone Splitter as an example, Fire Street Bone Splitter, and the only ways you can, this is an obligatory skill point that you're gonna put in if you want to advance. So it's not like it's a modification that you have to choose. It's you have to take it. And after that, you can either crit more, or you can make the mobs get 20% increased damage in his face. So and it's all like that. It's all little modification like that. It doesn't change the color of your skill. You don't make it bigger. You don't throw more shit around. Well, sometimes you do, but you don't. Like, it's nothing fabulous or flamboyant. It's very, very bland. Very simple. Like, they didn't want to modify the skill because it took too much time to make it graphically look different. And so I'm extremely disappointed by the skill tree. It is very, very, very bland. They could as well just put it all in your... They might just as well put it all in your bar and just modify it in the bar. There was no need for that skill tree. It's there's a couple of passive, but again, it's not a lot of modification. I'm trying to make this quick. Of course, we don't see the Paragon level. I could be completely wrong. Maybe when we open Paragon level, there's going to be so many modification to your skill that you're going to shit your pants. My feeling, personally, it's going to be the same as in the other Diablo. It's going to be fucking trash. 1% modifier to your blood damage, 1% modifier to your bone damage, 1% modifier to your crit, and that's going to be it. And you're going to grind those fucking levels to have those little 1% modifier, and it's not going to change anything in your build style. Why do I have a problem with that? Well, it's because basically there's no customization in the game. Everybody's going to run the same fucking thing. Yes, you might have fun in the first week trying to get more shit, trying new things, but at some point there's going to be like only one path that you're going to be able to build, or if you build differently from somebody else, you won't even be able to tell because it won't show. So, and that brings me to my other point, which is the itemization, which sucks balls. Okay, I will explain to you, because this is supposed to be, I think, the big customized part that you can do. Basically, you get those legendary items, and they are going to have a buff on it that's going to modify one of your abilities. And if you don't get one of those legendary items, you're gonna get a yellow items, and you're gonna be able to put those modifiers on the yellow item. What does that do? Well, first of all, it adds on your customization that you're going to be able to do. But this is the entirety of customization that you're going to be able to do, other than some unique items. Fortunately for us, we do know how much unique items we're going to get because it has been data mined. I should have done that item before. I should have done that before I started the recording, but whatever. It has been data mined and people have tested them in the alpha apparently, and this is all you're getting. So per class there's around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unique items with specific modifiers to your class. Now this would in theory help you build something different, but I will read you a couple from the Necromancer because that's what I play the most, so that's the one I'm most familiar. Your darkness skill chill enemy for up to and your darkness skill has up to a chance to generate additional essence. So basically make your darkness skills chill. Okay, that's one thing. Butcher casts a mini nova on your minions. Okay, it's all very small, very non-intricate thing, and there's nothing that does like the blood bath now does double healing but less damage, shit like that. It's nothing deep. It's all very, very vanilla, and it's only 10 modifier per class, so that's all you're getting. The other problem I have is that the devs have come out and they said that these unique items will be very, 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 very hard to get. Okay, so and the numbers that have been compiled so far are assuming that you'll get like 3 pieces of gear in a month of playthrough. Might I remind you that we cannot trade in this game, which I don't have a problem with. If you don't want the game to have tradable items, a lot of games have been very successful without trade. But if you make the game like not trades, not playable with trade, you gotta make the customization accessible. Because I won't be able to customize my character, not the strength, the power output, but at least the customization available, because I won't be able to trade my core piece of gear from another player. I won't be able to do that. So that's one of my biggest complaints. But what's more disgusting is that I know the loot drop system is going to be trash now, because everything is going to be pooled around the fact that you can craft items and you can craft the perfect item. So you're not going to have kill the boss, dropping a wonderful item that you're going to put on and be like super excited because it just puts you at a new level of power. No, what's going to happen is you're going to have like a good yellow with like 2 or 3 stats that you want, and you're going to put those legendary affixes on that yellow. Then you're gonna go to the enchanter and spend some of the million of crafting material that they decided to input in the game for whatever fucking reason, and you're gonna craft those perfect item kind of soon. So you're gonna have the best stats, the best stat that you require, and the best modifier on the item. Now, once that's achieved, it's going to be very fast. I'm assuming soon as you get into the end game, you'll get every stat on every item that you need in maybe 2 or 3 days. Once that's achieved, The real end game is going to be to upgrade those specific parts with all the crafting material that are going to be rare. This is going to be your end game. People are not certain, but I can feel it. This is how it's based right now in the beta. When the game released, they won't have time to change it unless there's enough backlash that they like hire a bunch of coders and fucking swamp everything. Because a beta is about testing the stress from the server and the actual game and fix bugs. It's not to modify the entire thing, because that takes time. It needs proper preparation. You need to like actually do some coding, and it's gonna be difficult to change that loot system. So in my opinion, we're already fucked, because your end game is going to be to grind crafting materials and grind items that you're going to transform into crafting material to boost the equipment you already have. This is going to be the whole fucking game. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be it. And a lot of other streamers that have followed the development of the game also think so. So, that being said, it gets into I'll get into my next point with that. Pay to win. We have no guarantee. It might not be pay to win. It might be pay to win. Blizzard said themselves that it will not be pay to win, but when has Blizzard lied to you? Every fucking time. So I don't know why we should believe them now. I'm a glass half empty kind of guy, especially when it comes to scumbag fucking companies that have fucked us over again and again and again throughout the years. I mean, why would I believe them? I think it's going to be pay to win. And the reason why is because all those fucking crafting materials open the gates of the way Chinese company are rampant with these types of games, exactly like the Diablo 4. Kind of open worldy, kind of hack and slashy, and you want to get better, well, get those crafting materials, but then they're going to add a scroll or a potion that's going to make you have 20% more chance to get those crafting material, and you're going to have to pay real money to fucking get them. That's what's going to happen. And the worst one is the red dust, because I can see them go full no pay to win on the PvE and maybe unlock it later, or they're just going to test the water, see how it goes, but put that red dust pay to win. I have a big feeling it's either going to be behind a 2 red dust per day paywall and unlock the fucking red dust paywall, and you can farm as much as you want, or you can farm 10 per day instead of 2. Shit like that. It really feels pay to win, okay? If it's not, all good for us. Good for them. They learned their lesson. But it really feels like a pay to win system, all right? So I'm extremely scared for the future of this game. Some people have said that it could be a good game in a year, like with the decent foundation and everything. My call on that is, listen, go fuck yourself. I paid $80 for your stupid ass game. You're a billion-dollar company who is making $1 billion a year. You just got sold by Microsoft for an absurd amount of money. Just put some fucking effort and money in this game. You will make your cash 20 times over. Just don't shit the bed. But I don't care. If this would have been an indie game like Path of Exile when it released, everybody would have go crazy. Be like, this is a great foundation for a great live service game. But guess what? Path of Exile is fucking free, and it's still 100 times better than the system I'm seeing now. Just the HUD, like, what's the UI? Look at this shit. Look at the UI. How little effort did you put? Everything here feels Diablo 3 done worse in terms of UI. How? How do you get in you know? Anyway, I'm just flabbergasted by the lack of competence that these fucking companies are doing. Like, $80 game worse than a free-to-play games, and I can feel there's going to be pay to win in this. Now, I'm just going to close my video because it's going to, otherwise I can rant for an hour about everything wrong in this game. There are some good aspects, like the action is actually good. It feels good to play it. It feels nice to like use your abilities. Like this, it is fun. But I've always say you can have fun with your friends playing fucking tic-tac-toe around the beer if you have good friends with you. And it doesn't make tic-tac-toe a good game. It just means that you can have fun. Hell, you can have fun playing tag with your friends. Doesn't make tag a good game. Same thing with Diablo. People might have fun for a week because it's new and you're gonna play with your buddies and you're gonna have fun advancing and discovering classes. Doesn't make it a good game. It just doesn't. And there's gonna be balancing issues, okay? I don't want to have an hour video long to edit, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. I play Path of Exile, and I might put the skill tree on side of this one just to show how many ways you can customize your character. And there are abilities here that just break the fucking balance. And I've seen the Necromancer and Sorcerer's version, and I can actually see 100 ways that the balance is going to be broken. If only for PvP. I don't even want to imagine only for PvE. I don't even want to imagine in PvP what it looks like. Blood Mist makes you invulnerable for 3 seconds. There's no way any other defensive skill is going to be as good as this. 3 seconds is too much. Too much. It's gonna, like, there's no way you can make Bone Prison work in a way that's gonna be more efficient than you just pressing a button and not getting hit by any damage, and you're healing, by the way. And that's one skill. When you're looking at the ultimate, Blood Wave is clearly a AoE skill that does 212 damage and it knocks back enemy, but it has less of a cooldown. But how efficient is it going to be versus like ultimate skills that are going to do a fuck ton more damage? You know what I mean? Like Bone Storm is just probably gonna be the meta, or Army of the Dead, depending on what you can stack on it. I just don't see any way Blood Wave is going to be useful ever. So that's just like rapidly me seeing things that are never going to be used in the game, just like Reap or a Mirage. Why? Maybe in PvP a Mirage, but even then, why? Because it's just poorly designed. There's no way this is better than the fucking Bone Splinter when you can be 100 feet away. And it's the same thing with the Sorcerer. I just saw Hydra builds. They're probably going to be the meta, like, by a long shot, because you would need to fix the fact that you can hit from 2 screens away, first of all, to make it balance. And also you need to reduce their damage because you can also cast other shit while you have Hydra on the ground. If you have an Hydra skill that is as strong as everything else while you're casting, actually like casting your lightning, Hydra is as strong as your lightning, why wouldn't you just put your Hydra down and then cast, I don't know, Fireball or Lightning? It's for sure going to be stronger. So there's a lot of balancing issue that I see, and that's just 2 things. I will give them the benefit of the doubt on the barbs, because I've seen a lot of people cry about the barbarian. Listen, that's the only thing they're probably not going to do right, and it's normal. Balancing range classes and melee classes, especially full melee classes, is very, very hard. Balancing range class in between themselves is fairly easy if you have a brain and you decide to actually test your fucking game, and same thing for melee classes in between themselves. But balancing them, a melee class versus a range class, is very hard, because when you're ranged, you need to have enough damage to be competitive to the melee class, but you don't want to outclass it completely so that the barbarian is useless because if it has the same damage as the range class, then all the time you won't be able to do any DPS because he has to move because he's melee. The range class are going to supplement it, and you can't make him too strong or too tanky so that he can tank everything the boss throws at him, and he just keeps DPSing way more than the range class, and then he's just completely broken. Okay, that's it. But that's a balancing issue that you need a lot of testing to do, and there's probably going to be cracks that makes some stuff broken in the early stages of the game, and I will allow that. But obvious shit, from like if you got a sorcerer with a bland build and like a rogue with a bland build, and one is doing 3 times the damage as the other, and they have the same kind of principle range game type of thing, and there's nobody used like an abusive type of mechanics that the dev didn't think about, because that's going to happen, and that's fine. But I think that bland level normal balancing shit, it's not going to be balanced. Just my 2 cents. Leave your comments down below. I want to know what you guys think. I think this is the most bland shit I've seen in a long time. We might have fun for a week. I'm not saying you're not going to enjoy the game. I'm just saying that it's not going to be worth $80. And watch out for those pay-to-win mechanics. I would bet my left arm that it's probably going to be so.